At his home studio in Watermill, artist and architect Joseph Stella is working on a new wood relief for his Golden Rectangle series.
The Golden Rectangle is a series based on a series of numbers discovered by an Italian mathematician known as Fibonacci. He lived in the 13th century. He discovered these patterns in nature and in much of the great art and architecture over the years. It happened to appear in the Parthenon, a lot of things through history, and it's based on what is considered good proportion. This is starting to shape up. I have a surprise shape here.
Stella has been a faculty member at the Pratt Institute, the Fashion Institute of Technology, the New School of Interior Design, and the City University of New York. His architectural designs, mostly residential, have won numerous awards and been featured in publications such as the AIA Guide to New York City Architecture and the New York Times. Stella also received an award from the Society of American Registered Architects for a recent wood relief.
This is a style I went through a number of years ago. I did a number of pieces. I was curious about textures of, I wanted to exploit the textures of the wood, whatever. This is actually a cross-section of a branch. This piece has been lying around and it needs a little refurbishing, and that's what I'm attempting to do. I'm inspired by nature because nature is logical, it makes a lot of sense, but it has endless variation. It's structurally, it makes a lot of sense. So I look to nature as my model and not the passing styles.
Throughout the 70s and 80s, Stella worked as a New York City building inspector.
One of my passions and interests is the history and architecture of New York City, where I grew up. So I've read widely on it, I've inspected many, many buildings, and it's a great interest of mine. And having personally inspected many, worked on a number of buildings and a lot of alterations.
A desire to learn more about the practicality of building led Stella to become more hands-on with the production process.
About 1979, I bought an old rooming house on East 31st Street in Manhattan, and with two laborers, we totally rebuilt this four-story brownstone East 31st in Manhattan, built on the back, whatever. In the back was a dumpy little backyard, and I lowered the floor. I decided to make a beautiful garden. Actually, some of the shapes of the spaces are similar to much of the sculpture that I do.
In 1991, Stella was faced with the challenge of renovating a garage in historic Grace Court Alley, Brooklyn Heights, while following strict zoning regulations that would not allow the creation of new square footage.
So I came up with an entire building by using the subtleties around the zoning. I was able to create a building which did not qualify as adding any square footage. The building department gave me a difficult time. They're not concerned with aesthetics. And it turned out to be very nice. They finished that alley, it made it a complete muse, and it's been recognized in many books. What makes architecture so difficult is that the inside is as important as the outside. And today we live in an era where all you see are the exterior photographs of architecture. All crazy stuff. And the interior spaces are not as important. They suffer as a result. So in some ways I take architecture too seriously because I think, again, the interior spaces, and to get them both to work aesthetically, whatever, is a difficult thing.
From Watermill, this is Michael Corellis.